Hello there. If you've listened to the previous videos you have now learned about Google Drive and Google Docs on the iPad. Both apps are powerful in their use here for blended learning. The next app I want to make sure I show you is the Google Slides app. Let's go ahead and let's get started. So I've already logged myself into the Google Drive, and it will carry on and remember those logins. And so when I tap that app, it automatically logs me in, and I'm in. You'll notice that this looks different from my Drive, but yet similar. So when we were in our Google Docs, it showed only a list of all the documents that are in my Drive. But when I tap my home button and go back to slides, it shows a list of only my slides. When I'm in my Google Drive, and this is where sometimes confusion happens, what is Google Drive then? Google Drive is really that storage unit. It's like the big filing cabinet that you might have in your office or in your classroom. And this is where you have access to all of your folders and all of your docs and all of your slides and all of your sheets. So this is the organizer app. But if we're looking for just slideshows, this is where Google Slides is and where we can create. So once again, some menus look very similar. Over here, we've got a menu button. When we tap the 3 menu button, it opens up a tool drawer. And that tool drawer gives us access to the same buttons that we saw over in Drive and in Docs. And you'll notice that the search feature and the access to Google Drive is also there, as well as managing our view. You notice that the filtering is still the same, and the create button is still here at the bottom. You'll also notice that the little icons inside, and you can see like they're in the little corners of, I can tell what's been shared, what's offline by the little ghosty icons, the little gray icons there inside. If I need to do anything to a slide without editing, so if I need those more options, here are those 3 dots right there. If I tap the 3 dots, there are my more options. Since I am in Google Slides, this is a slideshow app. You'll notice that I could save it as a PowerPoint. When we were in Google Docs, you could have saved as a Word document. A Microsoft Word document. You'll notice that I can still make this offline. I can still star it. I can still share it. I can have a sharing link on or off. I can copy that link. I can still send a copy. So if I had students that were going to be turning in a Google slide into Canvas World or sending it to another app, this is where they could do that as well with the 3 dots, more option. I can also rename anything, and this option was available also inside our Google Docs as well. I can move it, so if I want to move it into a folder, I can tap the move button and move it accordingly and organize it up. I can also make a copy. So if I love what I have and I just want to make a copy of it and maybe prepare it for a different class and make sure that it's differentiated and it fits their needs, I can make a copy, rename it, and go from there. I can also look at details and activity of my document. And I can, if I'm at home and I need to print and I have a wireless printer, I can print it or I can remove it altogether. If I were to look at details and activity, and I want to look at like, where is it being stored? I can look right up here. I can see that, oh, you're right, it's a Google Slides. Where is that located? So what folder is it located in? I can look to see who's the owner, when was it created, when was it last modified? And I can also look at the access level. This is another way of me adjusting who has viewer access and who has editing access to my projects. You'll also notice that as I scroll down, I can look at activity and I can look at who has been on there and what kind of activity took place. When I tap, and I can scroll and look, and I can also look at more activity there. I'm going to go back a level. Let's get started. So to start a new Google slide, I'm going to tap the plus create sign down here at the bottom. You'll notice that you have options to choose a template or a new presentation. I'm just going to tap a new presentation. It's going to ask for a title. I'm going to go ahead and type in new presentation just for our purposes. I'm going to tap create and let's get started. Inside, it's a very basic just overview of what a slideshow. So if you've worked with PowerPoint, it looks very similar. Over here is my thumbnail view, so I can keep track of all the slides that I want to create. Up at the top is the back arrow, so if I want to exit, that's there. If I want to know what is the title of my slideshow, I can look at it there. I have the undo, redo. I have the play button, so if I'm ready to present, I can tap the play button. And if I tap the share button up here, I can once again share out with my colleagues or with students. The plus sign is how I add media, very similar to what we had in Google Docs. But then up here, there is the little speech bubble. When I tap, when I tap that little speech bubble, it opens up the comments. So I can look to see what are all the comments that I'm getting on that document as well. You'll notice that the 3 dots are available up here as well. So when I want to look for more, this is where I can once again look at, you know, what are, like, do I have speaker notes? Do I want to turn those on? Do I want to view any of the guides that are there attached? So let me show you what that looks like. You'll notice view guides shows me like the center lines and that might be handy for you. If you turn on speaker notes, it makes your slideshow a little bit smaller, and now I can type in my speaker notes. Turn those off real fast. If I tap the details, this is once again where I can look at what's been modified, what's been done to my document. And then I can also make it available online, and I can also star it. And notice that the share and export features are there as well. When I want to share out, I can share here. I can share it as a link. I can copy the link. If I wanted to turn it into Canvas, I can say send a copy. And by default, it says, how do you want to send it, as a PDF or a PowerPoint? PDF works fine, but it's your preference as an educator. When you tap OK, then I can select to submit the assignment and follow those steps accordingly. If I go back a level, when I have the more menu open, you can see that the option to change a theme is available. When I tap change a theme, this is where I get some options. So if I want to make it jazzy, I can go ahead and I can do that. So if I want, let's say, maybe I feel like this. Then I can go ahead and tap it. Down here at the bottom, the last feature is the slide plus sign. So if I'm ready to add a new slide, this is where I can go through and I can add that new slide. It prompts you what to do with each of the text windows. So if I want to add a title right here, I can double tap to add, and then I can type in my title and then begin to edit accordingly. You'll notice that when the title text box is selected, all of a sudden I got a new array of tools that opened up here. And these are very similar to the word processing tools. You'll notice though that there is a paint bucket, so I could fill in that text box as well. And this ends your introductory to Google Slides. Thanks for listening.